This vodcast brought to you by Power9 Games.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Frontier Gaming. Today we're going to be looking at the new ally packs for Imperial Assault. My name is Z.
I'm Matt.
And we'll go and get started off with the Bantha Rider.
Okay, so Bantha Rider. We've got only an elite option. There's no gray one.
Yep.
But here we go. It's a creature brawler, and it works for your bounty hunters, scum and villainy, your mercenaries. But it is 9 points. It has a massive keyword. It can surge for a Pierce 2, surge for a +2 accuracy, and it has Habitat Desert. So it gets an action to trample, choose up to 3 adjacent hostile figures, and roll 1 red die. Each of these figures suffers damage equal to the damage results.
Very nice.
Yep. Then we got Stampede. When you end your movement in spaces that contain other figures, each hostile figure in your space suffers 1 damage. So get this, 21 health, 5 speed, and then its attack is a blue and a red with a range attack. So
it's primarily going to be running around stomping on people and then stampeding.
Yeah, stampeding, trampling, doing all that kind of fun stuff.
So a lot of not a lot of it doesn't roll defense dice, but also is not going to have any defense dice rolled against it.
Right. Yeah, and that's pretty key.
It's going to do a lot of automatic damage, and it's got a lot of HP. It's going to be a pretty important target, I think, as well.
And it's just
it is
runs over
super
all the
cool.
dudes.
And it's got a range attack too, so it can if it can't close the gap, then you can at least get some stuff done from range. And blue-red standard Tuscan cycler gun.
And I had heard that there was some Imperial players bringing them into some lists.
Yeah. So the crazy interaction is that his Stampede ability is passive. So anytime he would do movement, at least once per turn movement, he can move on to other models and then push them out of the way. And then they take damage, obviously. So the Imperial officers can kind of like poke him forward every turn or every action, and then like you'll just keep
cattle prod
staying on people, which gets around the part where the massive creatures, once they end their movement, they can't then move again and push more models out of the way. So the Imperial officer gets around that by having separate instances of movement out of activation that allow it to stomp on people.
And it does double duty. You're doing damage and you're clearing objectives if you need to.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, you can move people off objectives. You can block line of sight to all your squishy support pieces, like your Imperial officers and that kind of thing. And I think it can kind of hold a lot of the maps will have like a hallway, and it can just kind of sit in that hallway and push people back into the corner. And
pro tip for those going to be running maybe multiples, you don't have to take them single file. There's nothing in the rules that says that.
No, not at all.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we got a skirmish upgrade card, the Beast Tamer. It's a unique upgrade, 1 point. It's for the mercenary faction, obviously. It says first ability is exhaust this card at the start of a creature's activation for that figure to perform a move. And then exhaust this card at the start of a figure's activation if that figure has the non-sentient ability. During this activation, that figure can interact. And so this doesn't attach to particular models, it's just a thing you have. So any of your creatures you have, you can use these abilities, which are pretty powerful on this. Really all the creatures out. Getting free moves on like Wampas, which are notoriously slow.
I think the thing I'm excited about the most for that card is they use the art for the Rancor Tamer from Return of the Jedi. So please Rancor model, that would be awesome.
That would be phenomenal. I'm not sure. It would probably
maybe
be enormous,
an epic scenario.
Yeah. We'll see. It's super cool, and hopefully a teaser. Works
with
see.
all those Nexus.
Whatever you have Nexus now. Getting a free 6 space move, and then they can like pounce, and then maybe even interact. Yeah, like
slashing people up, working on the computer, doing all that stuff. So
having Nexus able to interact is actually really strong because they can get crazy places. They like can move 9 inches and still make attacks and stuff like that. So. Even on turns where they interact, they could potentially pounce to somewhere, interact, and then hit someone.
So
could be really strong.
Slicing
and slicing.
Yes,
There you go.
There you go. Okay, then we've got some of the command cards now. So this one is Crush. It is 3 points. It's a singleton in your list, but it can any massive figure, and it's pretty cool. Use when you end your movement in spaces that contain 1 or more other figures. Choose one of those figures that is small. That figure suffers 4 damage. Boom, 4 damage. Yeah, that's a lot.
So obvious synergy with the Bantha here, who's already pushing people out of the way, doing damage, and then you can just throw another 4 on top of that. It's a pretty strong ability.
Yeah.
It also obviously works with like the tanks and the
Stompy with your ATSTs and
Yep.
all that kind of stuff. So.
Who actually have problems with figures that are base with them. Because regular ATSTs cannot shoot figures that are base with them. So that ability at least gives you some recourse against those models.
There you go. Just
yeah.
But yeah. So
very good.
Crush people, stampede them, and then crush them again with the command card. So pretty cool.
Next up, we got Opportunistic. It says any mercenary figure use after a hostile figure suffers damage, you gain 3 movement points, and this is a 0 cost 1 of. It's pretty good 0 cost, I think.
Yeah, for a 0
points,
cost free movement, seems pretty good.
Movement points are, I think, pretty crucial in skirmish, getting to places you need to be, especially not having to spend actions to do it. That's why I personally love the Nexus so much, because they can move so much, and then still like hit people and all that stuff, and then having this ability, like a Nexu in theory could pounce and then move 3, and so still get its full movement without actually spending a move action.
Yeah, no, seems good.
Yep.
How many can you have in them?
1 of per deck.
Just 1 of? Okay. Nice. All right, next we have Jundland Terror, and it's a 2 cost, and you can have 2 of in your command deck. So use at the end of a round and choose a Tusken Raider or Bantha Rider figure. The chosen figure gains 2 movement points and may interrupt to perform an attack or an action. Yeah. So you got your brawlers, your Tusken rifles, all that kind of stuff that you can use that, and you can use it twice in your deck. So it's pretty sweet.
And it's important to mention, we didn't talk about it too much, but the Bantha Rider actually has the brawler keyword, which is very important because it gets access to Parting Blow, which you get 2 of in this box.
Oh, yeah.
So 2 cost, 2 of, interrupt when a hostile figure exits an adjacent space. Before that figure moves, perform an attack targeting that figure, then you become stunned. This is really good for the Bantha Rider. It breaks the out of activation movements if you're trying to do that kind of synergy with it. So you probably want to do this kind of later in the turn so that you can activate it again. Or you have access to removing the stun condition from it. But Parting Blow is really good, and red plus blue is not a bad attack to be making.
No, I
people.
like Parting Blow anyways when I'm running brawlers, so it just makes a lot of sense to run with the Bantha.
Yep.
So,
and if you're doing the whole Tusken Raiders plus Bantha Rider thing, you're gonna have a ton of brawlers anyway. So good to have access to this.
Overall, very cool model. I think we'll probably see it for the people liking to play mercenaries.
Yeah.
And especially with all the synergies with the Sand peoples.
Definitely. But, it's a strong box. So we'll move on to the Alliance Smuggler then.
Okay. Moving along. So we've got the non-elite version of the Alliance Smuggler here first, and he's got the Smuggler keyword, as you might expect. He's 2 points, and he's a single model. He's not part of a unit or anything, but he can surge for a stun, a pierce 1, or a +2 accuracy. He gets an action called Smuggler's Instincts, and to perform and interact, then move up to 2 spaces. I like that a lot. So that's good. Very clearly some objective synergies there.
Yep.
He's also got Slippery, his passive. While defending, apply -2 accuracy to the attack results. After an attack targeting you resolves, gain 2 movement points. So he's tough to pin down.
Yes.
Yeah, he's which is really key because you get to a stat line. He's only got 3 health for this guy. So if he's getting hit, he's probably dying.
Yep. Yeah.
But it's going to be tough to get a hold of him.
Yeah.
He's speed 4, so not the fastest thing out there, but he does have a white dice, so you get that last chance to try to dodge out of the way. And then he's got a green and a yellow attack range.
So he's only 2 points, but he is an objective monster. He's really good at objectives. His he has so many bonus movement points. Obviously, the 4 speed was to make him not so insane.
Right.
Keeps him reined in a little bit.
But that actually leads into the elite version, which doubles his cost. He's up to 4 points now, and he keeps pretty much the same thing. He can surge for 3 accuracy instead of 2, and he gets the Pierce 2 option, but he also can surge for a focus now. That's new.
Nice.
He's got improved Smuggler's Instincts, which is basically the same thing, but he can move up to 3 spaces now. So hit that terminal or grab this crate or whatever.
Talk to the contact.
Yeah, and then you get 3 move. And then his Slippery is exactly the same. So
cool.
That's not changed. But he does get 2 more health, so he's up to 5 health, and then he gets a 5th pip of speed And
Nice.
then otherwise his defense is still light, and then same green yellow range
So
attack.
yeah, so now he's 5 speed. That's pretty strong. And then also being able to focus yourself with that yellow dice, then you're rolling your next. Hopefully, every attack after that first one is green, yellow, which is
Right.
it's not too bad.
Helps out a little bit, and for 4 points, I could kind of see
And
that.
he's got access to Surge for Pierce too, so that's
He
not
can
a bad
actually
attack.
survive a hit probably pretty well, and then with
Maybe like
some of
one.
the command cards you
Yeah.
get for smugglers, you actually have a chance to regenerate some of that.
That's true,
So
that's true, yeah.
We'll see a little bit of that here coming up.
Yeah. So next up, we got a skirmish upgrade card for smugglers called Smugglers Run. It's a 1 point, rebel only. It's an attachment to a smuggler only. Deplete this card while you are in your opponent's deployment zone. You gain 5 VPs. That is a lot of VPs.
Yeah, that's not a small amount, you know.
Yeah.
I would, if you're running smugglers or you have Han or something in there, he may not be a bad way. I think it depends on the scenario and how out of your way you've got to go for that enemy zone.
I think it depends. Yeah, it depends on the list of maps that are currently in rotation. I think currently there aren't any that are like super far apart, but yeah, that's definitely something to consider. It's also
you got a free point, yeah. It may be worth
if you got a free point, I think, and you're running the smuggler that you want to attach this to, it is a unique and it is attached to a particular
Right.
smuggler. So
if that person dies, then
Yeah.
you're just out of luck.
Yeah.
But- Cool. Okay. Next we have up is self-defense, and it's a command card. Works for any figure, and it's a 0 cost, but 1 of for your deck. Use when a hostile figure enters a space adjacent to you. That figure suffers 1 damage.
Yep,
Yeah,
pretty good.
just,
Sometimes someone will walk up to you and you can just poke them with that. Also, kind of a popular style will be like a block of like Han and Chewie and that stuff, and so like Han can punch them when they come up, and then Chewie can punch them when they walk away because he's a brawler. Can have access to parting blow and that kind of thing.
Parting blow, sure. But yeah, seems okay for. I mean, if you got nothing better you want to do, if you want to get rid of the sit tights or something in your deck or whatever.
Yep. How many points is that again?
0.
Yeah. So not a bad 0 cost or 1 of type thing.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Next up, we got Smuggler's Tricks. It's a smuggler command card. It gives you an action. Choose a tile or token you're on or adjacent to. Until the start of the next round, your opponent counts as having 1 fewer figure on or adjacent to that tile or token. So this is obviously for like controlling zones or controlling terminals and that kind of thing. You pick a tile, and then their person is no longer adjacent to it. This is actually
it could be pretty clutch. I think it's fairly situational, but
I think obviously the big get would be like those area control ones where
that would
like
be
you have to control a room or something like that. Which it would be harder to do, but if they've already moved their guy in there, and then you can walk up with your smuggler and tag them and say like you're not actually there. That could be really good. Some of those have like big point swings too. So
so that could be really good.
It can also deny. I think it can deny the interacts because if they don't count as being adjacent to it, they cannot interact with it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, so that could be interesting. A lot of potential uses. 1 of 1 cost. So if you got smugglers, gives you like a kind of this tool, kind of a control toolbox thing for you access to.
All those sneaky smuggler tricks you can pull
For
out.
sure.
Even the odds. Or stack them in your favor. But okay, next we have Smuggled Supplies. I think this came out in the Hired Guns one, so we've seen it before.
Yep.
But just real quick, it's a smuggler with 1 cost and 1 of per deck. I really like this card too. But use at the start of your activation to recover 2 damage. Apply 1 surge to your attack results until the end of the round, or apply 1 evade to your defense results until the end of the turn.
Nice.
So
a lot of so it's never going to be a dead card. You got a bunch of options to use with that, and recover's good. Surges are good. All that stuff's good.
Yeah, I like using it to counter weakness sometimes.
Yeah, and if you have models like Han who have Cunning where they get an extra block
extra armor for their
evade, so that's a good use for that. And then our last card here is called Heart of Freedom. It's for any rebel figure. Use at the start of your activation to discard 1 harmful condition, recover 2 damage, and gain 2 movement points. So that's all of those things all at once.
I heart that one very much.
It's really good. 2 points, 1 up per deck. That's a very
movement damage reduction. I'm a big fan, and yay rebels. And
I would almost say auto included for running rebel dudes. Like that's just a really strong ability.
It does it all, and big fan.
Yeah. Very good. I think that'll do it for us here.
Yeah,
Frontier Gaming.
definitely. If you get to play with any of these guys, leave some comments in there to tell us what you think. But other than that, thanks very much for watching.
See you guys next time.